Good morning, folks, and welcome back to my podcast. This is George Nathaniel for you. As I always do, I always come back with those very simple topics. Well, these topics are things that relate to our lives, relates to our well-being, relates to our progress. These topics are things that we've been hearing time and again across all spheres of our life. Well, folks, what is my topic for today? Well, the simple topic for today is difficult. The word difficult. Well, folks, we keep hearing this word umpteen number of times. But what exactly is difficult? Well, folks, as we sit down and ask that question to ourselves, what is difficult? Or is difficult just a mindset? Well, let us spend a few minutes to understand. Difficult is a phrase over the unknown. Yes, it is exactly a phrase over the unknown. Once we have an understanding of things, once we have an understanding of situation, once we expose, once we have the experience, once we build the self-confidence, once we have the learnings, once we understand that yes, every important thing is difficult, every new achievement, every new landmark is difficult, we will always find a way to overcome it. So, most importantly, we need to understand the value of why a particular thing is difficult. Well, folks, as we sit down and relate, let's relate over time, times of difficult moments. Now, when I mean difficult moments, I mean difficult moments in a positive aspect. Moments that we faced to achieve something new, to overcome something new, to overcome a challenge. So let us understand difficult in course of time, in course of situation or the opportunities, and how as difficulties taken us over development and progress. So folks, as we sit down, as we understand, let us evaluate what is difficult. Well, anything aspired to achieve has its own difficulty. Else, we would have had a world of achievers and there would have been no difference from each other. So, folks, the most important aspect of difficult is being different. The most important aspect of difficult is taking on a challenge to achieve a new goal. Let us understand difficult from the most simplest way. Whatever new exposure we have, let us understand there is a difficulty in understanding that thing for that particular moment. But once we have an understanding, we find a way to overcome it. We find a way to find a landmark. So, folks, difficult to me is just a mindset, nothing more than that. To give you a very simple, a simplified example of being difficult. As a podcaster, I use a handset. So let's understand that if any one of us buys a new handset, well, for those few moments or for those few minutes, a little course of time, or maybe in situations, it'll take us time to understand how the handset actually functions. Because functionalities are different across every handset. So when you have a new handset, it'll take you time to understand. It'll take you time to learn. It'll take you time to relate. So was it exactly difficult? Well, looking at difficulty in a positive aspect. Difficult is just the mindset. So, folks, as I always say, let us relate to our personal lives. Let us relate to our professional lives. Let us relate to our contribution over our future endeavors. Let us understand the difficulties in things. Let us understand the difficulties in scaling over newer goals. Let us understand the difficulties over scaling over new landmarks and achievements. Folks, let us understand what is difficult, or is difficult just a mindset? Folks, we all aspire over our well being. We all aspire to be happier. We all aspire to be in a better environment. We all aspire to be better contributors to life. So, looking at the word difficult, let us relate to it well. Let us understand what is difficult, or is difficult just a mindset? Well, folks, it's not as easy as I am saying, or not as easy as I'm sounding, but yes, there is a solution to every problem, and this is something that has been told to us time and again. So, when I'm looking at happiness, when I'm looking at progress, when I'm looking at well-being, when I'm looking at a better environment, I look at overcoming difficult in a positive aspect. Let us understand the difficulty is just a challenge. It's a challenge that we need to overcome. It's a challenge that we need to accept. And in accepting these challenges, in overcoming these challenges, it what takes us across to our newer goals. So, folks, I know people have been telling you this time and again. You've been listening to it across generations. You've been listening to this in textbooks almost everywhere. But let us understand and relate to ourselves. Let us understand the value of ourselves. Let us understand our potential. Let us realize our potential. Let us understand that there are things that we can do. Let us understand that there are bigger goals that we can set for ourselves. Let us understand that there are higher landmarks that we can go beyond. Folks, difficult it is. Difficult it will always be. Because difficult is what makes the difference. Let us understand. Let us relate. Let us value. The most important aspect of difficult is to value things. The moment we value things, the moment we understand that yes, it takes efforts, let us understand that yes, it takes going beyond our comfort zones. It takes coming into a new environment to overcome difficult and to convert that into a landmark. So, folks, as we sit down and relate to our lives, let us understand what is difficult. And let us also understand how we can simplify things. I am being very generic because it relates to our personal lives, it relates to our professional lives, it relates to the contribution that we make across all aspects of our lives. So, folks, let us understand that yes, myself, is someone who can overcome difficult. Me, and myself is somebody who can make an impression. Myself is somebody who can do something better, not just for myself personally, professionally, but yes, I can be a contributor to lives. I can be a contributor to the environment. I can be a contributor to wellness. So let us take up our goals and let us understand that yes, we need to overcome the word difficult. We need to set our own landmarks. And most importantly, we need to progress towards betterment. Folks, I hope you like listening to my podcast. I also have my own blog website, which is georgenathaniel.net. I'll be happy for you all to come across, read my blogs. Do share in your comments. Do share in your request or what you want me to podcast for you. I'll be happy to podcast the simple experiences of life. Folks, I hope you like listening to my podcast. Do share them. It's important to share. And of course, folks, its most important in life is to look at wellness, is to look at progress, and of course, look at a better environment. Folks, I hope you like listening to my podcast. This is George Nathaniel for you, and I wish you all happier and better times ahead. Thank you so much. This is George Nathaniel.